My name is Stacy Fortes. I'm currently a senior studying computer science at Kean University. Today, I'll be presenting a study named Analyzing Sentiment Towards COVID-19 Vaccine via Twitter. The study was conducted by myself along with the guidance of my research advisor, Dr. Dehan Kwok. Ever since quarantine began in 2020, everyone has been waiting for the day that everything goes back to normal. Thanks to the recent development of the COVID-19 vaccines, normalcy seems to be closer than ever. Although many people were waiting to get out of lockdown, there was a lot of pushback when the vaccines were first announced. And while this can be due to the lack of information regarding the effectiveness and possible side effects of the vaccine hesitancy can be extremely dangerous. After all, the goal of vaccination is herd immunity, and if people don't want to get vaccinated, herd immunity becomes much harder to achieve. Due to the prevalence of vaccine hesitancy, questions arise regarding how the population of the United States feels towards the COVID-19 vaccine by state level. My project studies the sentiment towards the COVID-19 vaccine through Twitter. Therefore, the objective of this research was to see how the population of the United States feels towards the vaccine state by state. Initially, a Twitter API named Tweepy was used to scrape 5,000 tweets. However, in order to get a more accurate and all-encompassing representation of the sentiment towards the vaccine in the United States, we determined that more data was needed. So the first step in this research was to turn to an existing data set from IEEE, which contained nearly 150,000 tweets spanning from March 2020 to August 2021. Because this data set consists of general tweets, it was originally cleaned up to keep only the appropriate data for this study. This was done by removing all the tweets from the locations outside of the country and then filtering the tweets to only include those which contained the keywords such as vaccine, hashtag coronavirus, Pfizer, BioNTech, Moderna, etc. The reason for updating the keyword list was to include more COVID-19 vaccine brands. This data cleaning left us with about 10,000 tweets. The larger data set was then processed through a sentiment analysis tool in order to obtain the sentiment of all 50 states. The sentiment analysis API used is called Vader, which is from the Python library called Natural Language Toolkit. Vader uses a list of lexical features in order to obtain and label a piece of text as positive, negative, or neutral by giving it a numerical value in each category. The last step was using these numerical values to get an average for each state, which was then used to create a visualization. The resulting visualization is a color-coded map of the United States in which green indicates the most positive sentiment and red indicates the most negative. On the top right is the map of the United States with the states color-coded, corresponding to their average sentiment as indicated by the tweets analyzed. Underneath is a graph about how many tweets were obtained per state. And as you can see, California, New York, and Texas have the most data. Alternatively, North Dakota, Wyoming, and West Virginia seem to have the least amount of data. For this reason, it's important to note that the average sentiment calculated does not necessarily indicate the true sentiment of each state due to its sample size. Overall, it seems like there's a mix of positive and negative sentiment throughout the United States, with only some states being extremely polarized as positive or negative. Because one of the only ways to return to normal is by obtaining herd immunity through vaccination, and vaccine hesitancy is so prevalent, we believe that it's an extremely important issue to be addressed. We hope that by analyzing the sentiment towards the COVID-19 vaccine, we will provide the first steps towards mitigating the risk associated with the vaccine hesitancy. In the future, we hope this research can be used to inform health officials about the general sentiment towards the vaccine in each state and provide insight as to which states need to be further educated on the benefits of the vaccine, since hesitancy is largely due to uncertainty and lack of information. Thank you for listening.